The workshop hummed with the quiet efficiency of diagnostic scanners and plasma welders, casting blue-white shadows across the cluttered benches. Cale Thorne wiped his hands on a grease-stained cloth, surveying the day's collection of battered equipment. 20 years of fixing things had taught him that every dent told a story, every scorch mark held a memory. The workshop door hissed open, and the temperature seemed to drop several degrees. Vexera stepped through, her pale blue skin gleaming under the harsh lights, red curls cascading over shoulders that carried the weight of countless battles. At 7 feet tall, she towered over most of the crew, her presence both magnificent and intimidating. The other humans aboard the joint operations cruiser Harmony's Edge respected her combat prowess but kept their distance. She was a legend wrapped in mystery and silence. Tonight, however, something was different. Her usual predatory grace seemed fractured, each step deliberate but heavy. She carried pieces of her armor, leg plate scorched black, chest section cracked down the middle like a broken heart. Without a word, she placed the damaged components on his workbench with surprising gentleness. The metal clinked softly against the surface, and Cale noticed her hands lingered on each piece as if reluctant to let go. She moved to a nearby stool and sat, still wearing the upper torso section of her suit, her luminous amber eyes fixed on some distant point beyond the workshop walls. Cale had repaired her armor before, always in silence, always with her watching. He'd grown accustomed to her presence, finding an odd comfort in her wordless vigil. Tonight felt different, charged with an electricity that made his skin prickle with awareness. He knelt beside her, reaching for the damaged leg joint. His fingers worked with practiced precision, realigning the servo motors and checking the hydraulic connections. The familiar rhythm of repair usually calmed him, but tonight he found himself hyper-aware of her proximity, the way her breathing seemed slightly uneven, how her usually steady hands trembled almost imperceptibly. Then it happened. A single warm tear fell from her cheek, landing on the back of his hand like a star falling from the heavens. The droplet burned against his skin, not from heat but from the raw emotion it carried. Their eyes met, and for the first time, he saw past the warrior's mask to the wounded soul beneath. The tear on his hand seemed to break something fundamental between them, not trust, but the careful distance they'd maintained. Cale didn't move, didn't speak, just let the moment exist in the quiet hum of the workshop. When Vexera finally broke the silence, her voice carried the weight of collapsed stars. "I couldn't save them," she whispered, her accent thick with grief. "My battle sisters. All 7 of them." Cale set down his tools slowly, giving her space to continue or retreat as she chose. The warrior who had faced down entire enemy squadrons was trembling like a leaf in a solar storm. "We were the last of the Kethmori, the star-sworn guardians of our home system. For 3 centuries, we protected the outer colonies, fought together, bled together." Her luminous eyes dimmed. 3 days ago, we walked into a trap. I was the only one who made it back. The armor pieces on his workbench suddenly made sense. They weren't just equipment needing repair. They were relics, the last remnants of a sisterhood that had died screaming his name as their ships exploded around them. "The guilt follows me everywhere," Vexera continued, her voice breaking. "In the corridors, in my quarters, even in sleep. But here." She gestured to the workshop with a shaking hand. "Here, with the sound of your tools and the smell of metal and oil, it's quieter." Cale found his voice. "You don't have to carry this alone." Something shifted in her expression, surprise, perhaps, or hope. "Your people, they see me as a weapon. Useful, but dangerous. They don't understand that weapons can break too." "I'm not afraid of broken things," Cale said quietly. "I fix them for a living." A ghost of a smile touched her lips. "I may be beyond repair, little Starmender. Let me be the judge of that." From that night forward, she came to his workshop regularly. Not just for armor repairs, but for the peace she claimed to find there. They developed a routine. She would arrive after the evening shift, settling into her chosen corner while he worked. Sometimes she spoke of her sisters, their traditions, the weight of being the last. Sometimes they simply existed in comfortable silence, two souls finding solace in each other's presence. Kale began to understand that healing wasn't always about fixing what was broken, sometimes it was about creating something new from the pieces that remained. 3 weeks had passed since that first tear, and the workshop had become their sanctuary. Tonight, Vexera arrived earlier than usual, her armor more damaged than he'd ever seen it. The chest plate bore a jagged crack that split the Kethmori insignia in half, a wound that seemed to mirror the one in her heart. Rough mission? Kale asked, though he could see the answer in the exhaustion that radiated from her like heat from a forge. The enemy knew our tactics, she said, settling onto her usual stool. They've been studying us, learning from our defeats. Every move I made, they anticipated. Her hands clenched into fists. I'm becoming predictable, weak. My sisters would be ashamed. Kale moved behind her, beginning the delicate process of removing the damaged chest piece. His fingers worked the release mechanisms with practiced care, but he found himself moving slower than necessary, hyper-aware of every brush of contact between them. Your sisters wouldn't be ashamed, he said softly. They'd be proud that you're still fighting, still protecting others. As the armor came free, revealing the form-fitting undersuit beneath, Vexera's breath caught. Not from pain, but from something deeper, vulnerability. For the first time in weeks, she was truly unarmored in his presence. I dream of them, she whispered. Every night, I see their faces as the ships exploded. I hear them calling my name, asking why I couldn't save them. Kale's hand stilled on the armor. Without thinking, he reached out, his fingertips tracing the line of her shoulder where tension had knotted the muscles into painful cords. She shivered at the contact, but didn't pull away. You carry their memory, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. That's not weakness, that's love. She turned to face him, her amber eyes bright with unshed tears. How do you do it? How do you take broken things and make them whole again? Patience, he said, his hand still resting on her shoulder. Care. And sometimes. He paused, struck by the intimacy of the moment. Sometimes you just have to trust that the pieces want to be put back together. Their faces were inches apart now, and Kale could feel the warmth radiating from her skin. Her breathing had changed, becoming deeper, more deliberate. When she reached up to cup his face with one large, gentle hand, he leaned into the touch. I haven't let anyone this close since. She began. I know, he said, covering her hand with his own. We'll go at your pace. The shift happened gradually, like dawn breaking over a distant planet. Their evening meetings evolved from shared silence to whispered conversations, from careful distance to tentative touches. Tonight, 6 weeks after that first tear, something fundamental had changed in the air between them. Vexera arrived without her armor, wearing only the simple clothing she preferred in her quarters. The sight of her like this, unguarded, choosing vulnerability, made Kale's heart race. Her red curls fell loose around her shoulders, and her pale blue skin seemed to glow with inner light. I brought something, she said, producing a small crystalline device from her pocket. Music from my homeworld. I thought, perhaps you'd like to hear it. The melody that filled the workshop was haunting and beautiful, like starlight given sound. Vexera's eyes closed as she listened, her body swaying slightly to the rhythm. When she opened them again, they were bright with emotion. My sisters and I used to dance to this, she said, extending her hand to him. After victories, after losses, after long nights when sleep wouldn't come. Kale took her hand, marveling at how perfectly his smaller fingers fit between hers. She pulled him close, guiding his movements in the ancient steps of her people. The dance was intimate, requiring trust and synchronization, bodies moving in harmony despite their differences in size and species. I never thought I'd share this with anyone again, she murmured against his ear, her breath warm on his skin. I'm honored, he replied, his hands finding the curve of her waist. The dance slowed, becoming less about movement and more about connection. When she cupped his face in her hands, her touch was reverent, as if he were something precious she was afraid to break. "Kale," she whispered, his name like a prayer on her lips. He answered by rising on his toes to meet her halfway, their lips coming together in a kiss that was gentle and desperate all at once. She tasted like starlight and promise, and when she deepened the kiss, he felt himself falling into her like gravity itself. They moved together toward the small cot he kept in the workshop for late-night projects, never breaking contact. Her hands explored the planes of his chest with wonder, while his traced the elegant lines of her neck and shoulders. Every touch was a question, every response an answer. "Are you sure?" he asked, his voice rough with want. "I've never been more certain of anything," she replied, her luminous eyes holding his. "You've already seen my scars, Kale. Now let me show you my heart." Their lovemaking was tender and passionate, a healing balm for wounds both carried. In the soft light of the workshop, surrounded by the tools of repair and renewal, they found wholeness in each other. 3 months had passed since their first night together, and the workshop had become more than a sanctuary, it had become home. Kale woke to find Vexera already awake beside him, her fingers tracing patterns on his chest as she watched him with those luminous amber eyes. "Good morning, my star-mender," she said, her voice warm with affection. "Good morning, my warrior," he replied, pressing a kiss to her forehead. "Sleep well?" "For the first time in years, yes." She smiled, and he marveled at how that expression transformed her entire face. "I dreamed of my sisters, but not of their deaths. I dreamed of introducing them to you. They would have loved you, I think." The nightmares had faded gradually, replaced by peaceful rest and hope for the future. Vexera still carried her grief, it was part of her now, woven into the fabric of who she was, but she no longer carried it alone. "I've been thinking," she said, sitting up and reaching for something on the nearby table. "About what comes next." She handed him a data pad displaying transfer requests and new assignment opportunities. "The Council has offered us a position together, joint operations on a new colony world. They need someone to train their defensive forces, and someone to maintain their equipment." Kale scanned the documents, his heart lifting at the words, joint assignment. "You want us to go together?" "I want us to build something together," she said, her voice steady and sure. "Not just repair what's broken, but create something new. Something that honors the past while embracing the future." He set the pad aside and pulled her down for a kiss that tasted of morning and possibility. "I can't think of anything I'd rather do." Later, as they prepared for their final shift aboard the Harmony's Edge, Vexera stood before the mirror in her dress uniform, pinning the Kethmori insignia to her chest. But now, beside the symbol of her lost sisters, she wore something new, a small pendant Kale had crafted from salvaged metal, shaped like 2 stars orbiting each other. "Ready?" he asked, taking her hand. "With you?" "Always." They walked through the corridors together, no longer the silent warrior and the quiet technician, but partners in every sense of the word. The crew they passed smiled and nodded, having witnessed their transformation from 2 broken souls into something beautiful and whole. As they reached the bridge to receive their final orders, Vexera squeezed his hand. "Thank you," she said quietly. "For what?" "For showing me that love isn't about replacing what's lost, it's about finding the courage to love again." The stars beckoned beyond the viewport, infinite and full of promise, and they stepped forward together into their new beginning.